During the 1890s to the 1960s, the term sewer socialism was widely used and developed in the Milwaukee area. Often referred to as sewer socialism, for their back-to-basics strategy, Milwaukee socialists sought to reform the legacy of the Industrial Revolution on the local level by cleaning up neighborhoods and factories with new sanitation systems, municipally owned water and power systems, community parks, and improved educational systems. With Milwaukee becoming increasingly industrial, the workers felt cheated by big business owners. Until 1901, the workers had no major party to represent them. Soon the Socialist Party of America became very popular, as with many major and minor workers supporting it. In Milwaukee, many socialist votes came from many German and Irish immigrants who were not happy about the First World War. Socialists started their 1920 presidential campaign by using the slogan, "Stop the next war now," helping to get many votes from many anti-war voters. Workers and European immigrants supported the socialists, which in Milwaukee made a huge majority when it came to voting. It put more socialists in Congress and made the city one of the many key socialist states. Milwaukee, the first and only city in the United States to elect 3 socialist mayors, Emil Seelder, Daniel Hone, and Frank Seelder, leading the state in a path of progressive ideology. Socialists now had control of the city. What were they going to do next? In 1922, Berger ran for Congress and won. The House allowed Berger to take his seat, and he served for 3 successive terms. Milwaukee socialism came to be increasingly a program of municipal reform under the leadership of Berger. Milwaukee had become so socialist that the first socialist mayor of the city in the United States was elected, Emil Seidel, in 1912. 1916, the second socialist mayor, Daniel Hone, took the helm, leading the most powerful time for sewer socialism in Milwaukee. The workers trusted in the socialists because of their economic policies. Examples would be minimum wage, city control of water and electric, and an 8-hour day. Many may now know the story, May 5th, 1886. It happened in Bayview, where there were many massive steel plants. Here's John Gerda's The Making of Milwaukee with more.
On the morning of May 5th, 1886, the Polish workers, now 1,500 strong, regrouped at St. Stanislaus Church to resume their march on the mill. Tensions were near the breaking point. Anxious but determined, the strikers marched 4 abreast behind a banner bearing a clock face set to 8 and the legend, 8 hours. The militia was waiting for them. When Governor Rusk was informed by phone that a large crowd was approaching Bayview, he replied, "Very well, sir. Fire on them." One militia captain gave his troops a more specific command.
"Pick out your man and kill him."
Onward marched the strikers. At a distance of 200 yards, the militia commander ordered them to halt. They could hardly see the major, much less hear him above their own noise.
Fire!
A reporter on the scene described the reaction.
As if by a common impulse, the crowd fell headlong to the ground, and for a minute it appeared as though nearly all had been killed or wounded by the first discharge. When the troops ceased firing, all who were uninjured turned and ran pell-mell back to the city, leaving 6 dead or dying in the dusty roadway.
The economy of Milwaukee held strong until the 1930s, with the Great Depression. Milwaukee, with only a few cities, was not affected by the Great Depression until 1931. Then the storm, known as the Great Depression, had finally arrived. Within the few days, the city's economy began to fall apart, with thousands losing their jobs. Small startups disappeared within days. With the city providing jobs in the water and electrical industries, it kept low costs and people kept their jobs. But still, sewer socialism kept its promise of helping the economy. When the New Deal was passed in 1933, things like the CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps, and the PWA, Public Works Administration, were used to provide jobs for thousands that had lost their jobs. These changes brought a new standard to Milwaukee and the nation. Things like water and electricity were provided by the city, lowering prices and keeping good quality. To this day, Milwaukee as a city has maintained these two utilities and has protected many homes. During the early 20th century, Lake Michigan was eroding by the coast by 2 to 3 meters a year. To prevent homes from going in, the city built a wall for the harbor, and using landfill materials, dirt, dead trees, and rocks, they built an area that has become Lake Drive. Now there is a beach, a fast roadway, and easy access to downtown from the north side. A new extension of freeway leading to Lake Drive too. John Girdle will now explain the workings of the Lake Drive water pump, now a Collectivo coffee.
Milwaukee solved its problem by flushing it. In 1888, the city drilled a tunnel under the east side to the North Avenue Dam, then installed the world's largest water pump in a graceful Cream City brick building on the lakefront. The idea was to flush the putrid river with clean lake water. The effect, of course, was simply to push the collected filth out to the lake, where the city got its drinking water.
Though sewer socialism was proved to be well for many in society, some still suffered, specifically in the African American communities, due to the leadership of many white socialists, only concerned about white communities. The difference did not appear really until the 1940s, when the African American communities in the North began to grow extremely fast. This is known as the Great Migration. After the 1944 elections, Mayor Zielder used race baiting to gain votes from African Americans and whites. Many whites were mad with him for forcing them out of their low-value homes and then selling them for lower prices to African Americans, making it harder for them to get good jobs, as jobs moved to higher land value areas, white community. With this, the development of ghettos in the west side of the river began. Economically, the area began to collapse and fall into ruin, with it only recently becoming rebuilt. In the late 20th century, sewer socialism started to die out. Still, many towns like Milwaukee and Chicago are grateful for the work sewer socialism has done for them. Such projects as water pumps and rebuilding communities. Some people may see sewer socialism in negative ways, as with the race factors in communities, but others will see it in a positive way of reinforcing labor in society. Around Milwaukee, there are many memorials regarding sewer socialism. One of them is for the death of 6 men involved with the 8-hour strike. Mayor Frank Zielder gives service for it.
I'm going to read the names of the people who lost their lives in 1886. Let us compose ourselves. Frank Conkle, Frank Novarchik, John Marsh, Robert Erdman, Johann Zaska, Martin Jakowiak, Michael Lukowski.
8-hour days, 8-hour days.
Many people still remember sewer socialism for its impact on Milwaukee, reforming the Industrial Revolution to help communities all over the state. I urge you to look around your city to see if you can find memorials of sewer socialism and the projects that many of them have helped put up. Though sewer socialism has passed away, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Socialist Party has too. For example, presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is part of the Socialist Party. In the end, sewer socialism deserves a big thanks from Milwaukee by help reforming the industrial industry and cleaning up communities for the greater good. For more information on sewer socialism, please go to the Wisconsin Historical Society's website to see more about the great importance of sewer socialism in Milwaukee communities. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy.